Hey, welcome to Lockdown with Lon. It is day 57. That means we've been in lockdown for 8 weeks here. It's Friday, May 22nd. And we're in 1 Kings chapter 17. We're still in verse 19. And I'm going to read that to you. It says, "And he said to her, 'Give me your son.' And he took him from her arms and carried him up into the upper chamber where he lodged and laid him on his own bed." So we know the story now. The widow, her sons died. Elijah's there, and she brings him to Elijah. And Elijah says, "Give me your son." And he takes him into his upper chamber. So the upper chamber is where he stayed when he was with the widow. She had set aside this place for him. It was probably had an outside staircase that led up, something like a rooftop chamber where he had a room for when he was with her, with that family. And it was his sort of private space. And it got me thinking about, why did he take him into his chamber? Why not take him into the boys' room or bed, or into the mom's bed, or onto the sofa or something like that, where, rather than carry him upstairs into the upper chamber? And I think it's because for Elijah, that was his private sanctuary. That's where he met with God. And so he brought the boy into the place where he meets with God, because he wanted to, he needed a miracle there for that boy. And so he brought him into his private sanctuary. And it made me think about where in, Matthew 26, or Matthew chapter 6, and verse 6, when Jesus says, "But when you pray, go into your room and shut the door and pray to your Father who is in secret. And your Father who is in secret will reward you." And even another version says, "Go into your private chamber." And some people call that a closet. But here it says, "Go into your room and shut the door and pray to your Father who is in secret." So it's interesting because he says, go into your room, go into that place that God is in secret. And so I love the book by Bob Sorge called "Secrets of the Secret Place," and it's Merv's favorite book, and it's an amazing book, and it's kind of a little devotional. And he talks about the going into your in the chapter that's called "The Secret of the Shut Door." And I want to read a couple quotes to you, because I feel like he captures something of what it means for us to have that place where we meet with God. And he asks the questions: Do you feel strained to feel God's presence when you pray? Does He seem distant to you? Do you long to know that He is with you right now, drawing near to you? And then he says, there is a surefire, 100% guaranteed way to have instant intimacy with the Father. And Jesus himself gave us the key. He says, Jesus gave us this secret in the above verse, talking about Matthew 6:6, when he said, your Father who is in the secret place. Jesus is saying, your Father is already in the secret place. He's gone ahead of you. He is waiting for you. The moment you get to the secret place, you are in the immediate presence of your Father. That's the end of the quote. So what Sorges here is saying, that Jesus is saying, is that when we set aside a place where we meet with God, and like that private place, and for you it could be your bedroom, it could be your office. For me personally, it is not a room. It's when I go outside and I walk, and that's where I meet with God. And I find that, like, okay, God, let's go for a walk, and He's with me, and that's my secret place. When I lived in San Clemente, there was a beach trail that I would go to, and I would go and pray, and I would find that, like, I could go to that beach trail, and I could be distressed and feeling a lot of pressure and stress and anxiety. And literally, I could walk onto that trail, and within about 10, 20 yards, I would feel the presence of God, and I'd feel my stress and pressure would like just melt away. And so what Jesus is saying here is, find that place where you meet with God regularly, and then He will be there waiting for you when you go. And I look at Jesus. It said Jesus when he said, Jesus would get up while it was still dark out, and he would go out to a secluded place and pray. So Jesus would go to a secluded place. He'd go to a secret place. And so I really believe that what God wants to say to us this morning is that we all need a secret place. We all need that place where we meet with God. We all need that place where we know God's going to be there waiting for us. And when we establish that place, because we go there time after time, we'll find that God is there waiting for us. Sorge goes on to say, I'll quote again, when you enter your room and shut your door, you are in the presence of the Father. Instantaneously, it matters not how you feel, regardless of your soul's climate at the moment. You know with absolute confidence you've stepped into the chamber of your Father in heaven. The secret place is your portal to the throne, the place where you taste heaven itself. Man, isn't that exciting? Isn't that encouraging? Doesn't that make you want to run to be alone with God right now? Let me encourage you today. Find that place. If you have that place, go to that place and have your secret place with God. He's waiting for you. Have a great Friday. I'll see you tomorrow.